Ms Shane.
Thank you, Madam Assistant Speaker, and indeed I do have a lot of people to thank. First, to my parliamentary colleagues who spoke in support of this motion today. Thank you for your candidness and your honesty in sharing your own stories in support of this motion. And as you would be aware, Madam Assistant Speaker, occasionally when we have topics that are seen to be women's issues, some of the men don't speak, but I'm delighted that Mr Wall added his perspective today, because this isn't a woman's issue, it's about parents and it's about children, and we've all been at least a child, if not a parent. So I'm delighted that we've had so many perspectives shared today. And as was reflected across the chamber, we have a proud history of supporting breastfeeding initiatives and initiatives to support women in this place. And I'm very pleased to report that in addition to the good work that's gone before us, and I hope that will come out of today, the ACT Assembly has recently registered itself as a breastfeeding welcome zone, following a discussion in our Admin and Procedure Committee, which Mr Wall and Mr Rattenbury were in full support of. And so, Mrs Jones, we did continue your good work even in your absence. And I understand the clerk is in the process of making available to all members breastfeeding welcome here stickers for them to put on their doors, but some members already have them. I especially want to thank Sally Eldridge, who spoke with my team when we were out door knocking a few months back. She didn't have any issues, but she wanted time with me to tell me more about breastfeeding. Quite literally, if she didn't answer the door, I would still not know what a milk bank was, and I probably wouldn't know a lot about breastfeeding either. And I want to thank Krishna Shukla, who, when she recently took over my role for a day as part of Jasiri Australia's Girls Takeover Parliament, put together the first fantastic draft of this motion. I also want to make special mention of the support and guidance we've received from the Australian Breastfeeding Association, and especially Jessica Armstrong. As we've heard today, they are powerful supporters and they are powerful advocates, and they have been with me every step of the way in developing this motion, and I'm very grateful for your support. And of course, I do need to thank the government. The Minister for Health and Wellbeing and her staff have been a supporter since I first wandered around to say, hey, I've got an idea. The reality is it is the government that has to make this happen, and knowing that we have such a strong advocate in Minister Fitzharris from the get-go gives me extraordinary hope. But most importantly, Madam Assistant Speaker, I want to thank the many, many parents who have reached out to me in the past few months to tell me that this is a great idea, and in particular the dozens and dozens of women in the past few days who've offered to share their stories to demonstrate why a milk bank is so necessary. Phone calls, comments, private messages. Women like Alicia, who after a traumatic birth began breastfeeding her baby at home, only to find out 4 days later that her child had lost 15% of its birth weight, who drove around to numerous houses across Canberra collecting informal donations of milk from other mothers. Women like Kira, who had trouble breastfeeding and reflects on the difference donor milk could have made to her stress levels as she bonded with her newborn. Women like Leanne, who had excess breast milk during her stay in hospital and would have happily donated it if the option was available. Parents like Katie, who considered donating her extra milk to a facility interstate, but found the option overwhelming as her daughter was being cared for in the neonatal intensive care unit in Canberra. Parents like Lindsay, who drove all the way to Sydney to deliver excess milk to a family in need. Women like Alyssa, who has donated 20 litres of milk to a milk bank in Queensland because a similar facility doesn't exist closer to home. Parents like Deanna, who sat in hospital with an oversupply of milk, feeling terrible because she couldn't help the women around her who were unable to produce their own. Parents like Erica and Hannah, who felt both a sense of joy and pride in formally donating breast milk to other families, that they felt part of that community spirit. Parents like Kirsten, who donated her milk to a baby born via surrogate, while his mother was trying to induce lactation. Parents like Jen, a foster carer who was charged with looking after a baby born 8 weeks premature, a baby she would have loved to have fed breast milk if the option had only been available. Parents like Kate, who gratefully accepted colostrum and milk for her daughter Ruby, who was born via a surrogate. And in particular, to all of those parents who have reached out to me who had a child who was born stillborn, and many of those parents have been able to honour their child by donating, but also to those parents who were not able to do so and really wanted to. I want to take the moment to offer my apology that that was not available, and I think we need to right this wrong. And of course, Madam Assistant Speaker, the many, many other women who've contacted me and expressed their support. I wish I could share all of their stories, but apparently there's other business. And there are too many stories to share with you today, but I think that we will continue to hear more of these stories. The reaction in the community has been overwhelming, to say the least, and overwhelmingly positive. And I really encourage parents right across Canberra to continue to share those stories, to continue to underline why this is so necessary, and to keep an eye on what government's doing and to hold them to an account. Madam Speaker, as many of these stories illustrate, Madam Assistant Speaker, as many of these stories illustrate, women are already donating and they're already accepting breast milk that's been donated throughout Canberra, and many others still want to participate. Parents want that choice, but it's not always easy to participate. It is time we step in and make this process easier for donors and recipients, that we make it available both in and outside the hospital setting, that we make a physical location a real thing, and that we get the kind of regulation that gives parents receiving donor milk increased peace of mind. The way to do it is through a breast milk bank. And I urge and congratulate the government, because they've said they will, to investigate and determine how best to make it happen. Thanks very much.
The question is, the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. I declare the ayes have it.